Welcome to another episode of Right Click Print Money. This is the PGA, European, and now LPGA Tours Tips and Picks show, making paper for the masses. I am your host, SportsGuyTy. You can find me on Twitter, as always, at SportsGuyTy. And with me every week are my very esteemed co-hosts and colleagues. First, T-Mac, who is at Trevor McElwain on Twitter, and ShallowCal. You can always find him at ShallowCal Golf on the Twitters with the peanut butter and crack sandwich gifs.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Is it GIF or GIF?
It's GIF, like the peanut butter.
I say GIF.
Well, this was a whole thing.
I know it is.
This was a whole thing. You're also a Green Bay Packers fan, so you can.
And an Android user.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right, gentlemen. Well, let's start off quickly because we do have some business to attend to. But first, what's fueling the creative juices tonight? Your podcast sauce, ShallowCal. We'll start with you.
It was a rough night in league today. I shot 41. So I've got a big fat Tito's and ice, and that's it. Yes.
Drain those sorrows, my man.
I also picked up sushi on the way home, and a boatload of sushi on the way home. So I just stuffed my face and just drowned my sorrows in vodka as well as sushi.
All right, T-Mac. Well, what about you? What are you sipping on tonight?
I've got a little bit of water with a Kool-Aid flavor enhancer in there.
Oh, what Kool-Aid flavor enhancer did you go with?
Oh, you know I went with cherry.
I thought it was just red. It's actually cherry.
Oh, it's cherry, my friends.
Sugar, water, and red.
There's no sugar in it.
Well, I'm on the Canadian Pilsner tip this week, Labatt Blue Light. And for Koozie of the week, I'm embarrassed to say this. Didn't realize I had done this until I had already sat down at the podcast to record, but I doubled up with a Koozie I've already shown previously. We are not through the full list yet, so I'll bring back a new one next week. But we're going back to Vic's Party Store in Napoleon, Michigan. Liquor, beer, wine, lotto, groceries, UPS. What else do you need, gentlemen?
Where is Vic's in Napoleon?
It is right on the corner of M52 and I can't remember the other cross street, but right across from Aggie's Pub.
Oh, okay, so it's not where the old Spartan grocery was that I got banned from?
No, but it's close. It's literally right around the corner from that, just down the street.
Gotcha, okay.
Another podcast another time, and we'll get that story.
It's not that good of one.
Well, before we get into the full agenda, as teased a moment ago, we do have a little business to attend to. ShallowCal, you want to let the masses know what that is?
Yeah, where they can find us.
No, even before that. Even before that.
Oh. Are we talking about Garrick?
We are talking about Garrick.
Oh, winter fried perch dinner, baby.
Times two, double up for your boy and ShallowCal. Both hit Garrick Higgo on the European Tour in the Canary Islands.
Yeah, Garrick Higgo. He gone. Oh my
God.
Just like shot out of a cannon, man, on Sunday. I looked at the leaderboard and I was just like, okay, no, there's no sweat. There's no sweating this. Draining an ace to start like your back nine is, I mean,
the only thing to really sweat was he going to actually beat the record to par on the European Tour, because he came close to Ernie Els' minus 29.
I mean, he could have. I feel like he took the foot off the gas a little bit, almost. I mean, if there was somebody that was really pushing him and pressing him, then you really see it come out down those final holes. But I mean, you're playing at that point just to get into the clubhouse.
Absolutely. Well, we've caught fire once again. We're on one of those streaks where everything seems to be going right. 5 outright winners and 3 first-round leader winners for the podcast across both PGA and Euro just since April 1. So a little over 5 weeks. 5 outright winners, 3 first-round leader tips. If you're not following along, time to join the bandwagon, because we're having fun now, gentlemen.
Is this where I get to tell them where they can follow us at?
And now you can tell them exactly where they can follow us.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're available on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. If you do that, please download it. Don't just listen. Even if you don't listen, just download it. And we can also see us on YouTube, see us in person, see us live in action. And Ty's still got the ugly mustache for a couple more weeks.
Literally a couple more days. Family photos this weekend.
Oh boy.
Well, then you'll get to watch it grow back and each week. You can also catch us on Twitter at RightClickPicks, and as Sports Guy Ty said, he is at Sports Guy Ty. It's at Trevor McElwain and at ShallowCal Golf on Twitter as well. Hit us up. Let us know what you think. Let us know your picks.
Absolutely. Give us a little bit of feedback. Let us know where those early fancies are for both the Byron Nelson as well as the British Masters this week. T-Mac, you got a new review for us?
Hey,
I don't think so. Do we have a new review?
I believe we've got something on YouTube that we may have to go to. But what are you saying, ShallowCal?
That's the British Master hosted by Denny Willett.
By Donnie Willett.
You have to put the hosted in. You know.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm having trouble actually putting my hands on the YouTube review as well. So we may have to get back to that next week.
I didn't see that one. Sorry.
No worries. But good reminder, leave us reviews, as Callow said. Leave them on YouTube, leave them on iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you can do it. Tell us your name, where you're listening from, what you like or don't like about the show, and we'll read them out on the air. We'll give you a little publicity, and it helps us because every time that you download the show, rate it and review it, helps us climb those charts. We peaked at number 59 in the United States earlier this year for Golf Podcasts. We want to break into that top 50, so help us get there. We got a busy show tonight that's going to hopefully take us a bit closer with a few more winter fried perch dinner tips. But we are going to recap the Wells Fargo as well as get a bit deeper into Garrick Higgo's win at the Canary Island Championships. Also look back on the LPGA Honda Classic. We will give out our Right Click Print Money winners, Bogeys of the Week, and Weekend Sweats. We will also preview the Byron Nelson as well as the British Masters hosted by
Donnie Willett.
Donnie Willett. But before we get into it, let's keep it rolling as we do every single week. One question for each of the guys from the world of golf. No pre-work on these. This is just off the cuff, shooting from the hip, giving reactions. T-Mac, you're up first this week.
Let's do it.
So it came out just a few days ago that there are actually two separate entities competing to lure the top PGA players away from the tour for that lucrative guaranteed money. First, you got the Super Golf League, and then you have the Premier Golf League. The original PGL included investors from Saudi Arabia who then broke away and formed the SLG. Regardless, and whatever's happening with all these different leagues, or if any of them exist at all, should Phil Mickelson accept the reported $100 million offer from whomever offered it to be the leader of the Rebels and try and bring top tour players with him to the Super League?
Yes. Phil Mickelson is on the 18th hole of the back nine of his career. He has a couple of good rounds in him, maybe a tournament here or there, but he's not Phil of old. So if they're offering $100 million, sign that check and run. But before you do, I'm going to be starting the Elite Golf League next week. I don't have $100 million, but Phil will be talking.
So Phil, look for that DM. T-Mac's going to be sliding in there with some offers one way or another. Listen, I'm in complete agreement. Phil's legacy is secure, right? He is a multi-time major winner. He's made ungodly amounts of money. He's got sponsorships like crazy. He's won Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has nothing left to do in the game of golf. He's on the other side of 50 now, so he's technically eligible, of course, for the Champions Tour. Played a couple events out there. We'll get into a little bit of his first round at Quail Hollow here shortly, but he's really past the point of seriously competing on the PGA Tour. So at this point, for $100 million, sign that contract, and who cares if nobody follows you? Let them figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, hopefully the whole thing collapses and you just got $100 million guarantee money.
All right. All right, ShallowCal, you want to weigh in or you want your question?
I mean, you guys nailed it on the head. Phil Mickelson, for him, $100 million. That's a chance to really add on some generational wealth to your family right there. That's not just your children's money. That's like their children's children.
That's 4 or 5 generations, unless you're an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
which I don't know Phil to be.
Yeah. So if you're Phil, 1 year, 2 years, who cares if they ban you? You still get to play the Masters every year because, hey, you won the Masters and they don't have to answer the PGA Tour. So
true.
Exactly.
Why not?
Let me be clear. I don't support the general premise of either the SLG or the PGL, but speaking strictly from the perspective of should Phil Mickelson do it, no question. He has nothing to lose at this point.
You should be signing that right now.
Yep. All right, ShallowCal, your question. So Dustin Johnson announced today that he was withdrawing from the Byron Nelson. Cited an ongoing knee injury that he wants to further rest before the PGA. Just a week ago, courtesy of Paulina's IG account, we saw DJ doing a backflip off a boat into some beautiful looking tropical waters. So what gives here? I mean, is he really injured? Do we need to be concerned for the PGA? Did he injure himself on that backflip? Or is this just a case of him pulling out late for extra rest and he never had any intention of playing the Byron Nelson?
I feel like he really never had any intention of going west to come back to the to the East Coast. I feel like he ain't going anywhere. He's just having a week off. I feel like there's really nothing to it. I mean his last round at the Masters was pretty good. He crept in there at 10 under, I believe. No, and I'm sorry, not the Masters, the week after. He crept in there and had a good round.
At the RBC?
Yeah. And I just don't think he's, particularly in form, and I don't think that this course is a course that you've never played really that much before and don't have much history at. Why go play that instead of take a week off and rest and get right and get your head in the game?
It was kind of a head scratcher to me to begin with that he was listed as playing the Byron Nelson for all those reasons that you just listed out there. Yeah. So I'm not overly concerned. Let's see how the next couple days go. Let's see what leaks out from both his camp and then from some other sources, see if there really is anything to be considered with this injury. But at this point, I'm not reading too much into it.
Can we talk about for a moment how you asked a question about Paulina and Callow didn't mention her once in his response? That's got to be be a first.
Trying to keep it safe for the kids here, man.
No, you don't.
Family guy. What can I say?
Do you follow Paulina on IG, ShallowCal?
No, I cannot be looking at that stuff. It's not healthy.
That's too bad. I do.
All right, one more bonus quickly for both of you or whoever wants to take it. Bryson DeChambeau leaves Quail Hollow Friday after thinking he misses the cut. Charters a jet back to Dallas, posts a photo on Instagram of him working out in his gym. Takes a flight back at 2:45 in the morning to make an early tee time, gets to the course at 6:30, proceeds to shoot back-to-back 68s, pulls off a top 10, earns over $200,000. So first of all, he definitely paid off the extra flight back and forth with the private jet. One of the most impressive feats, I think, just out of like pure stupidity that turned into just an incredible result. Are you flying back immediately after you realize that error, or are you doing what Bryson did and just kind of kicking it for a bit, chartering a jet that morning?
I'm going to do what Bryson did because I think 2 back-to-back flights takes a lot out of you. So at least you're home. You get some of the best rest in your own bed. So just, know that you're waking up early, get in bed, and go play a couple rounds and hit a couple 68s.
Callow?
He slept for, a handful of hours in his own bed. So, how much time is he driving to and from the airport? And, but my thing is, I think Bryson found out how big of a celebrity he actually wasn't when they didn't fly back immediately, because the crew was like, no, we can't. Sorry. And he wasn't able to get another crew. So if you're a big dog, if you're Tiger Woods, you're flying back immediately and nobody's even asking a question.
This kind of has the feeling of like doing something when you're a kid that you don't want your dad to find out about because you know how stupid it is and it's likely going to cost you or really him a lot of money. I just like have this thought of like having to go to my dad and be like, Dad,
We crashed the golf cart at Barton Hills.
That's exactly what I was thinking, ShallowCal.
Similar vibes, to be certain. All right, well, before we go too far down that rabbit hole, let's take a left turn, jump back into some golf talk, recapping the Wells Fargo specifically. We're going to change it up a little bit here. We've got 3 tournaments to recap quickly: Wells Fargo, Canary Island Championships, and the LPGA Honda Classic. So, gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to give your bogeys of the week, your sweats, and your right-click print money winners in that order after we get done talking about each of the tournaments. So first up is the Wells Fargo. Roars. Rory Mcilroy back in the win circle for the first time in over 2 years, since before the shutdown of the tour. Good or bad to see Rory lifting that trophy?
I think it's great, but I'm just upset I didn't pick him in anything. However, he's been so far off my radar because he really hasn't been performing that well, but I'm happy for him. It's good to see Rory back on top.
How did we not bet Rory Mcilroy at 20-1 in some places? I mean, it's JT at the Players all over again, right? Like you don't get 20s on Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wasn't. He wasn't like Spieth. With Spieth, you saw it coming. It was a barrage of top 5s and top 10s all in a row there for Jordan. With Rory, it was missed cut, win. It wasn't any build up. There was no build up. There wasn't anything, leading up to this. It was just miscut, win. So yeah, no, I was off Rory for his form. But hey, glad to see the kid come out and play well and win. And golf is obviously better when the big guys are out there firing away and making it as competitive as possible.
Definitely. Did all this at a place he knows well and loves. This is now his 3rd win at the Wells Fargo. Got his first career PGA Tour win back in 2010 at the Wells Fargo. So because of those facts, although I was not on Rory on any official tips or picks, I did get a little slice of the pie because I had him as my one and done pick in the big $30,000 Mayo Cup one and done. Also had him in the lineup in my season-long fantasy, which helped take down the side pot and the tournament this week. So No outrights, no places on Rory, but I did get a little bit of that pie in a few other places. How about Phil Mickelson? Almost goes full Keegan Bradley on us, takes the lead after round 1 and flirts with missing the cut on Friday. Does make it to the weekend, but really backpedaled from there. Did either of you think that we might be witnessing a Phil revival when you saw that first round lead?
Not a chance.
I think even after you texted, that he had the lead, I said, well, that's not going to hold. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, love you to death, Phil, but there was no way.
It was great. It was great to watch him with his group and Grillo and Dahmen, I believe it was.
No, Lanto and Joel Dahmen.
Yeah. Not Emiliano. Lanto and Joel Dahmen. but the banter back and forth on Twitter before the round of Damon saying, I get to play with the best of the Champions Tour. It's going to be great, blah, 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 blah. And then Phil goes out and has the low round of the day, and they're just holding up their scorecards next to each other. That was pretty
Lessons
fun.
learned.
Yeah, exactly. That was good. I didn't think Phil was anywhere near it, though. That was, I mean, I think it's going to take something special for him to really contend in a tournament.
Yeah, and this was one of those places where if it was going to happen for Phil after 50 years old, getting the win, I mean, Quail Hollow had to be high on the list. He's got a handful of second place finishes there. He loves Charlotte. One of the few places that he actually gets out and kind of socializes with the other players when he's there. So, it was fun seeing for a day on Thursday, but I don't think there was ever any thought that he was going to seriously threaten for the title. And we're probably past seeing Phil Mickelson win on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, man, if you can get that $100 million, you bolt. Are you kidding me?
Definitely. How about Abe Answer and Victor Hovland? Two of the more impressive weekends, especially those Sunday rounds. A couple of guys who looked really good. Abe still looking for that first victory. Victor just looking to kind of cement what he's already done this year and get ready to contend for a major. T-Mac, I know you were impressed by Victor despite coming up just short.
Yeah, I was all over him. I think I had told you I thought his bounce back was coming. I had him at top 5, top 10 outright, first round. Yeah, and we were almost there for him. If he would have hit, I would have cleaned up at least half of the losses that I've had.
Yep. I like Vic a lot in a couple weeks at the PGA, but we'll talk more about that later. All right, let's quickly recap our betting cards so we can move it along to Euro and LPGA before previewing the Byron Nelson as well as the British Masters. So we're going to change the order a little bit this week. Start with your bogeys of the week, then give me your sweats, and finally any right-click print money winners. ShallowCal, we'll start with you at the Wells Fargo.
Max Homa. He did not have a good week. Man, Max, I love you. Hopefully you turn it around next week. Actually, I don't think you're playing this week, are you? But hopefully you see a little bit of a return to some sort of form after that quickly. But yeah, that was my vote to be fair. I think everybody was on him though, and it was kind of the public, the public money pushing the guy, much like Bermuda Burns in the past. Public's on him, failures.
Yeah, a lot of pressure being the defending champ too. A place where you got your first PGA Tour win, kind of coming out of nowhere at extremely long odds to do so.
I hope he's not playing this week. He needs to sit in his room and think about what he's done.
All right, Shallow.
Funny about it by being Judge Homa on Twitter. That was great.
Oh yeah, great Twitter personality. All right, finish us off, Callow. Take us through your sweats and your winners, and then we'll go to T-Mac.
PGA, I didn't really have any sweats. My winner only was Patrick Reed, top 20. That netted me back 2.2 units. Overall for the week, it was a negative 10.8 unit loss. So not good for me for the PGA this week.
All right, T-Mac, how about you? Start us off with your Wells Fargo bogeys of the week. Worst tips and picks.
Yeah, so I mean, I had Homa as well, but another one that I'm just not very happy with was Jon Rahm.
Yeah.
He's been very disappointing, and thought that this was going to be a very good tournament for him to come back. I mean, even the tournaments where he doesn't do much, he still seems to finish top 10.
Top 10 machine.
Exactly, and he didn't even make the cut. It just embarrassed me. For sweats of the week, I've got to go with my boy Victor Hovland. It would have been really, really nice to see him hit that. I guess I'll say Bryson DeChambeau a little bit because I had him in a top 5 as well as a top 10 bet. I didn't really think he was going to make a push towards the outright. I mean, he started looking like he was in good form leading into Sunday.
Couple of weekend 68s at Quail Hollow. That'll help.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll say that was another sweat to get him into the top 5 would have been nice. And then where I made my money was just on those two. So Victor Hovland at top 5, I got 4-1. Top 10 on Bryson DeChambeau, I had him at plus 140, and then a top 10 on Victor Hovland at plus 180.
Okay, so a little bit of return for the right-click print money winners.
Unfortunately, that puts me at a negative loss of 28.9 units on the tournament, which puts me at minus 112 units of the year. So, got to turn this card around, folks. Otherwise, I might be taking a couple tournaments off, shortening these cards up quite a bit. I'm going to do one more crack at it this week, but I'm going to be changing it if things don't go well.
You know, I mean, half the battle is evaluating your strategy, right? If it's going the wrong way, change some stuff up, smaller cards, different approaches to the bets, the cards, all good stuff. Best thing about golf is it's only a week away from trying it all again.
Yep.
All right, very quickly, my betting card recap for the Wells Fargo Bogeys of the week. Will Zalatoris and Francesco Molinari both missed the cut. More disappointed in Willie Z than I was in Francesco. He was 125-1, bit more of a long shot, so wasn't too disappointed there. Really thought this was going to be a good course for Will Zalatoris, but also a difficult course as a debutant to make it through. My sweats, a bunch this week. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this, but I actually thought I had collected on 2 place bets for Luke List at 200-1 and Patrick Reed at 30-1. So I use a couple different sites for my tips for each way bets, and I actually traded better odds for a place on both of them. So I went with Luke List 200-1 to 5 places, not 6, and could have gotten him to 6 places at 150-1. As such, his T6 finish did nothing for me, and the same with Patrick Reed. Tipped him at 30-1 to 5 places, not 6. He also finishes T6, so good sweats on both, and nothing on the return there. Nothing on the return actually at all on my card. Right-click print money winners for the Wells Fargo was a big fat 0. 13-unit loss. That's actually 2 weeks in a row on the PGA Tour for me that I haven't returned anything. Good thing that Euro and now LPGA is keeping me afloat.
Keeping you afloat? No.
It's been a good run. I'll give you my full breakdown once we get through Euro and LPGA. So let's turn our attention to Canary Island Championships. All 3 of us with action this week. One more time, how sweet are the Canary Islands?
I mean, unfriggin' believable. Just the water. I just want to jump off the cliff into the water right now.
I mean, the European Tour is probably doing as much for the local tourism council in the Canary Islands as anyone. Because, I mean, I can't sit here and watch the Canary Islands tournament for 3 weeks in a row and not consider at least booking a trip there at some point.
It's pretty
good.
It
looks gorgeous.
So we touched on it in the opening, but Garrick Higgo, pretty much unstoppable. 3 weeks in the Canary Islands. He wins 2 of them. Actually, all 3 tournaments were won by South Africans. Higgo's bookend wins were around Dean Burmester's win the first week in Tenerife. So a great 3-week stretch for South Africans on the European Tour. Garrick Higgo is just a fun golfer to watch. 21 years old, and he is an absolute magician around the green with his short game. I'm looking forward to seeing him in a couple weeks at Kiawah Island for the PGA.
Yeah, I think he booked his ticket there with that W.
Sure did.
Yeah, so and he's what, top 50 in the official world golf rankings now. So he is definitely a presence that's going to need to be dealt with sometime here soon on the tour. I wouldn't be surprised if he started playing more tour events on sponsors exemptions in the near future. This dude can pour it in. I mean, around the greens, like you said, he is just a wizard. And it's his scoring ability. I believe he was 21 or 22 under the first time he won, and then 25. What was he, 25 under this week?
I think he got 26 or 27 is where he finished.
26, 27. Yeah, I mean that was it was really a runaway on Sunday the entire day. There was nobody that was close. He was 2 shots in the lead on Saturday going in, and just, I mean, very impressive win.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward, as you said, to seeing him in more PGA Tour events in a little bit classier fields. I mean, we know that he can dominate lesser European Tour fields, and I say that because they're even the top end European players didn't make the trip for all three Canary Islands tournaments this week. So you take care of business. You absolutely grab the wins where you can get them. He's now tied with Tiger Woods for the fastest professional golfer to 3 wins on any tour. But again, I want to see him do it against a little bit stepped up competition. He's going to have a lot of opportunities here the next couple of weeks and months to do just that.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised for a top 20 at the PGA. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's
That's
got
gonna be a
momentum.
course. That's going to be a course that he's going to actually. I think that favors his style of play. So I'll be interested to see that.
Definitely. T-Mac, anything from you on Canary Islands Championships before we recap the betting cards?
No, I just know Adri Arnie was doing pretty well there for a while and then kind of fell off towards the end, but I only had 3 bets out, so he was the only one that I was really hoping for.
All right. Well, run us through them. Any of those 3 bounce for you? Any bogeys? Any sweats? Any return on those 3?
No return. I didn't really have any sweats because I didn't really watch it. You guys had to tell me what was going on.
You should have been sweating out old Adriarnas.
Yeah, probably should have been, but I wasn't really. So, no, just bet them. Nothing happened.
All right, ShallowCal, run us through your betting card recap for Canary Islands, Canary Islands Championship, bogeys of the week, sweats, and right-click print money winners.
I think my bogey of the week. I don't really have a bogey of the week. I think my card was really well put together. You know, Garrick winning it, Callum Hill, Connor Syme right there. 3 of my 4 outrights really there on each day and place as well. Unfortunately, Callum and Connor went backwards on Sunday. Didn't really keep their place wins intact. But yeah, I was really happy with the card. So the only thing I got though, unfortunately, was Garrick outright. All the others just moved backwards at the end.
I had a really strange card in the Canary Islands. My card honestly was total shit, except for the 2 that I won, and I won big on them, but lots of bogeys of the week this week. Let me start out with Chris Paisley, cut. David Horsey, cut. Tom McKibben, cut. Joachim Lagergrim, cut. And the one golfer that I placed a bet on or placed an official tip on and then actually cashed it out because I wasn't happy with it, Grant Forrest finishes T23. I mean, he didn't place any money, but I mean, of all those other clowns that I put on there and got cut, I probably should have kept Grant Forrest. So there's your lesson in not hedging, particularly pre-tournament, but that was one I just didn't feel great about, kind of a rush click through some research there. Definitely a bogey. For my sweats, I did have both an outright and a place on Adri Arnas. I had a little bit more tipped on Garrick Higgo, so I was slightly leaning that way, hoping that he would get the win and Adri would get the full place. Garrick did come through with me, 3 units plus the each way at 12-1, a big right-click print money winner for over 40 units returned on the Euro Tour. Adri Arnas did cash a place bet, but it was a big chop. Lots of people sharing that place, so only a few units returned on the place. But still, pretty good weekend for me, as mentioned, up over 40 units on Euro. All right, very quickly, recap my first foray into the LPGA in terms of tips and picks, and then we'll get into actually previewing Byron Nelson as well as the British Masters. So LPGA Honda Classic, the ladies were in Thailand this week. Big win for Arya Jutannergarn, a Sunday 63, 9 under, came storming back, was the first Thai golfer to win the event in Thailand, also her first win in almost 3 years. I got to be honest with you fellas, I had the outright in the place on Patty Tavatanakit, but Arya was a joy to watch. I actually watched a good bit of this tournament, particularly Friday and actually really Thursday, Friday, and Saturday overnight in Thailand. I love the area. T-Mac knows it well. It's the Pattaya area, great old Siam course there. Arya was just a joy to watch. I'm going to be watching a lot more LPGA because this was fun.
It's Pattaya though.
Yeah, true. Well, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah, all the locals, if you say Pattaya, they get mad at when you say Pattaya.
Well, Patty T, damn it, just not enough birdies on the weekend. I was so excited about her starting off. Felt really good about the tip at 28-1. She comes out with back-to-back 64s, 8 under, actually leads all the way through the third round, started off the fourth round in the lead with another couple Thai golfers near the top, but she was just stuck in neutral pretty much all weekend, Saturday and Sunday, just didn't make enough birdies when everybody was going low. Really, really a bummer. She did cash for me, though, as mentioned, on the place, 28-1 with the each way. A little bit of a chop there, but still returned 6 units on my first LPGA card. Final storyline from Thailand. Another 18-year-old Thai golfer, Atthaya Thiokol, was solo second. I started doing a little bit more research on her after Thursday, and she started popping up on the leaderboard. This is an unbelievable young golfer. She actually won the Ladies European Thailand Championship at 14 years old. Became
Holy cow.
Became the youngest golfer in history to win any professional golf tournament at like 14 years, 9 months. It's another one that's going to be, just a lot of fun to watch. Anytime you win anything professional at 14, that's impressive. All right, gentlemen, quickly before we turn forward facing, run us through again where you stand overall season plus minus on the tips and picks for your total units. ShallowCal, you start us off.
Total on the year, I am at a whopping 26.275 units up on the year after going down 10.8 on the PGA, but going up 2.7 on the Euro. So down about 8 units total this week, but still hovering up 26.275.
Okay, and T-Mac, we know the strategy's changing for you.
Yeah, I already told you how bad mine was. I'm not going to repeat that again.
Fair enough. So I am positive across all 3 tours now. Euro is really what's carrying me, but I am up 106.55 units. I believe it's 6 outright winners and maybe plus 1 there. But it's been a good run here. I'm excited going into the PGA. Got some big stuff ahead. But with that, let's now jump into previewing the Byron Nelson. Brand new tournament, TPC Craig Ranch, McKinney, Texas, hosting for the first time this year. Another one of the tournaments that got caught in kind of the COVID changeover last year, so we didn't have a 2020 edition, which means that Sung Kang is your defending champion from 2019. This course is located in Collin County, home to the new PGA of America headquarters, and it is also the Byron Nelson is the most financially successful charity event on the PGA Tour, raised $162 million for charity in its 52-year history.
Nice.
Although we've never actually seen this course in PGA Tour competition, it is pretty familiar to a chunk of this field. It's actually hosted what is now the Korn Ferry Tour Championship twice. In 2008, known then as the Nationwide Tour Championship, it was won by Matt Betancourt. A couple notable names of finish that year. Mark Leishman was T7, Webb Simpson, T11. Fast forward to 2012, change names again. Web.com Tour Championship won by Justin Bali. Notable names there: James Hahn finished second, Adam Hadwin T3, Russell Henley T6, and Luke List playing this week was T13 in 2012. Quick rundown of past winners. As mentioned, Sung Kang 2019, Aaron Wise first career win here on tour in 2018, William Ho in 2017, Sergio Garcia in 2016, and in 2015, Stephen Bowditch. Shallow Cal, after that big pull of tequila, you got some course vitals for me?
Yeah, we're going to this Tom Weisskampf design course. It's first opened in 2004, and like you said, it's hosted an array of events on the lesser tours. So a lot of these guys are going to be a little familiar with it. In typical Tom fashion, it's not a course that's going to have a lot of tricks and gimmicks to it. It's going to be pretty straightforward. You don't really have too many hazards to deal with. You've got a creek that runs through most of it, Rowlett Creek. That
14 of 18 holes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it doesn't really come into play on any of them, unless you're really wild and you're really far off center there.
There's one hole that escapes me now that you got to go over it twice. Once with the driver, second time with the approach shot. I want to say maybe 10, but other than that, you're right. I mean, it touches nearly every hole on the course, but not a big hazard in general.
Exactly. And your fairways are Zoysia?
First time we've had it this year on tour.
Yes. And you've got your bent grass greens. So it's going to be a little different than what we've been playing for 2 months now on tour. Going to be a little bit of a curveball here. So guys who are familiar with this and from the Texas area, like Jordan Spieth, maybe might have a little bit of an advantage here. People who have played on this stuff before. You're about a little over 7,400 yards, par 72 or 71, depending. Have we heard word on what we're doing with the par 4, par 5?
I believe it's playing as a par 71 this week. Only 3 par 5s on the course.
Gotcha. Yeah, they have a tweener there that they play as a short par 5 or a long par 4. So if they're playing as a par 4, it's par 71. Well, let's see. I have a feeling that we're gonna see some real low scores this week. I think you're looking close to 20 under, maybe even more for your winner.
This is a course where distance could really dominate, and the longer hitters could pick this one apart. It's a course that it's gently undulating. It is kind of a tree-lined parkland course, but typically when the PGA Tour comes to a brand new destination, you don't see a lot of teeth the first time around. They're going to err on the side of caution, which I think really is, as long as the Texas winds don't start howling, this is definitely going to set up for some low scores.
Yep.
Keeping that in mind, T-Mac, what stats are you looking at as you're building your card for the Byron Nelson?
Yeah, kind of keeping it pretty straightforward this week. Looking for strokes gained tee to green and strokes gained on the putter on the green.
Okay, Shallow Cal, how about you? Anything to add there?
Like I said, the putting. I've always said this. The putting can be random, but with something different and a new putting surface that we're throwing into play this week, I'm going to be interested to see how the guys who have been playing a lot respond to the different putting surface that we've got going this week. Can they make that adjustment and do well?
Yep. Little bent grass green. I'm looking at strokes gained off the tee, specifically distance. As mentioned, I think this has the potential to really set up for a bomber's delight. But also, again, it is tree lined. It is your typical parkland course. So if you're wild, if you're spraying off the tee, you can get into some trouble left and right. You got some dog legs. But again, the guys who are longest are going to benefit the most. Strokes gained approach, again, going to be an iron course, I do believe. Greens and regulation, you have smaller, slower greens. And so finding those from the fairway is really going to be a key this week for me. All right, gentlemen, outright picks. It got interesting today when DJ pulled out and a few of the odds dropped really at the top of the board. So let's start there. T-Mac, anything for you 19-1 and below?
I've got Daniel Berger at 16-1, and I've got Matthew Fitzpatrick at 18-1.
Danny Berger's an interesting name that I didn't consider much. What drew you to him this week?
I didn't get to do a lot of my normal research, so I'm a big fan of Danny Berger. There's not really much more than that, really. I was just kind of going off a couple guys that I like and a couple numbers that I like. I didn't really like that number on him, but, I feel like I haven't seen him in a little while, so I'm excited to see him back.
Okay. Well, I'm right there with you on Matt Fitzpatrick. I got him a little bit longer of odds, 20-1. One of the best putters on tour. Again, I really think short game is going to be key this week, particularly on the green. Not as worried about around the green, but I want those putters. We know Matt Fitzpatrick can light it up when the flat stick gets hot. His current form has been phenomenal. 4 top 10s in his last 7 starts, including 2 top 5s. He is no worse than 34 anywhere in the world in 2021. ShallowCal, what about you? 19-20-1, we'll call it, and below.
I have one. I'll give you one guess.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. Yeah, my man, Jordan Spieth. Let me. I put 2 units each way on him, so a total of 4 units down. Oh, not the best odds, but Jordan in Texas, coming off of a little bit of a break. Against a field that now does not include Dustin Johnson. I think he can do really well at this course. Jordan Spieth. Let's do it, baby.
And in strokes gained Texas, he's got to be right up near the top.
I don't even. Is there a stat category for strokes gained Texas?
I'll tell you what. I saw it somewhere on Twitter. I'm guessing it had to be Justin Ray because Justin Ray has a stat for literally everything in the world of golf. But yes, somebody out there this week has put out a strokes gained Texas stat.
And I hope Jordan is number 1.
Absolutely, or at least near the top. All right, T-Mac, back to you. Anything you got in the 20s?
Got Big Willie Z, 25-1.
Well, our cards are favoring each other a lot. Again, I got him at a little bit longer number, 30-1. 30-1 for me on Big Willie Z. Another Texas guy. He's actually a Plano resident right down the road from McKinney. Coming off a missed cut at the Wells Fargo, but I actually don't mind that too much. He was on a great run there for many, many weeks in a row. The extra rest, I'm sure, did him well. Chance to go back and work out a few things. Here's a dude who's long off the tee, should play well at this course. 4th in strokes gained approach, 26th in greens and regulation, and he also played the Byron Nelson, albeit at Trinity Forest as an amateur in 2016. What about you, Callow, 20s?
Kepka Brooks,
Okay.
25-1. He should do well on this type of course. He is long off the tee. He's also coming off of an extended long break. If you remember our preview, I believe it was the Masters. Be wary of the injured golfer, you say. And one of my points to that was when you're coming off of an injury, you're really focusing on your fitness and your rehab. So if this is the case, I look to see Brooks come back and really be in great shape, hopefully great form, and I'd like to see him take advantage of this course.
He's another guy who I saw on that list, whoever put it out, and I apologize, I don't remember this. It may have been PGA Tour tout, but he was another one in the top 5 of strokes gained Texas. So I like that pick of Brooks a lot.
That's what I'm
Um,
basing my entire card off of right now.
One more in the 20s for me. I actually went Scotty Scheffler at 25-1. This is a guy that's looking for his maiden PGA Tour win. Another guy whose form has just been incredible. 12 events in 2021, 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s, 7 top 20s. He is a Texas guy, Dallas resident, UT Austin grad. Checks the boxes across the board. 15th in strokes gained off the tee, 33rd greens in regulation, 38th strokes gained tee to green. T-Mac, back to you, 30s.
Nothing until the 80s for me.
ShallowCal, 30s.
Aussie.
Oi.
Dipping in on Mark Leishman at 33 to 1 with an each way on that for a unit.
As mentioned, T7 here in 2008 at the Nationwide Tour Championship. So he does have a little bit of course history. All right, I'll take us into the 40s. I've got one, Ryan Palmer at 45-1. Another Texas guy, sensing a theme here. Yep, I'm all over it. 32nd in strokes gained off the tee, so he is going to make all of his hay from the tee box. Hasn't missed a cut yet in 2021. Got 2 top 10s, 5 top 20s. A guy that's getting a little bit long in the tooth. I know that he would love to get one more win in his home state. So I'm on Ryan Palmer, 45-1. ShallowCal, will go to you for 40s or 50s.
Just one in the 40s, and that is our pod favorite. See woo. I've got him at 40-1 each way, up to 6. So
Listen,